The spirit in the abandoned barber shop, the cut that stayed. It started with a knock at the window. On a night when the whole block was sleeping except me. When I pushed the curtain aside, there was no one, just a shadow. That shouldn't have been there. This happened when I was 28. I'm Malik. I was walking home from a late shift at the deli, hand still smelling like grease, wallet in my back pocket, earbuds dead. Down on 3rd and Magnolia sat the old barber shop, dark and chipped like a tooth with a cavity. Cracked glass, neon signs sputtering every few seconds. Everybody in my building knew the story. Used to be Pop's place, the man who cut half the neighborhood's beards. Then came 3 strange deaths, a couple of whispers, and the city slapped a 4 lease on the door and walked away. Guys with beards and fades and jobs still said his name like a prayer. I grew up hearing about Pops. I grew up knowing one thing: you don't go into that building after sunset. But rules fade when you need something. That night I needed a cigarette, and a minute alone I needed air. So I walked and ended up under that busted awning. From the block you could still see the sign Pop's Barber Shop, ST79. The lights inside were dead, the chairs just shadows. On the sidewalk an old barber pole lay on its side, glass cracked, the red and white spiral frozen mid-turn. When I lifted the sash and the lock gave, the silence hit like a weight on my chest. The bell above the door didn't ring. Inside smelled like dust, club soda, and something sweet that made my tongue go cold. Old aftershave, maybe, or the ghost of it. My hands found the counter, hoping stupidly to find the place how it used to be. Then I heard it, metal on metal, a steady drag from the back room like a chair being pulled slow across tile. I should have left. I didn't. The shop looked like a photo left out in the rain. Portraits of kids on the wall, and on the cracked window faces that said, "We were here." Trophies, a jar of combs, stacks of old black newspapers and jet magazines. One barber chair sat turned slightly like somebody had just stood up. On the counter, a straight razor in a leather holster, blade catching a sliver of moonlight through the glass. My fingers twitched. A beard is a man's defiance against the blade. You learn respect for that kind of steel. Then came footsteps, close, soft. The air changed. The tug at my neck felt like a stare burning into my skin. I told myself it was probably a homeless dude sleeping in the back. People take shelter where they can. That's what you tell yourself, to explain away a cold knot in your gut. "Hello?" I called. My voice sounded small. Something moved in the dark. Not a voice, just a throat clearing. Then, "You shouldn't be here, Malik." I froze. My name. Pops used to call everybody by name. I never told anyone that, not even my mom. When I was a kid, Pops gave me a free lineup when she couldn't pay. His hands were gentle, like he was fixing something broken. Hearing that name again in that voice made the room fold in on itself. A man stepped out from the back, thin, older than I expected, jacket too small, hat pulled low. His hands were rough maps of scars and bone, weathered, strong, and unshakably steady, the kind of hands that had held a razor for 40 years. A barber's towel hung around his neck, yellowed with age. He wasn't Pops. Pops had been heavier, slow with his smile. This man looked hollowed out, like something that had clawed its way through the storm and now pressed into the silence just to breathe. He smiled. No teeth. "You lost?" he asked. His voice spoke like cheap whiskey in a prayer. Anybody else would have left, but not me. Maybe it was curiosity. Maybe it was pride, the kind that keeps you walking home alone through bad blocks. I figured if I talked, this would just be a story about a weird old man, not the thing that would follow me for years. "I used to come here," I said. "Name's Malik, but you already knew that." "You with the shop?" He tilted his head like he'd been waiting on that name. "Name's Eli," he said. "Been here since before the lease ran out." We sat on the low couch like 2 old men trading stories. He answered in pieces. Said the shop closed after the deaths, 3 of them. Different nights, different stories, same ending, men leaving, not coming back. or coming back wrong. I asked questions the way men do in a barber shop through small talk, sports, gossip. That's how you fish for truth. He told me Pops used to hum while he cut. Said once the death started, the hum stopped. Then came whispers about curses, about razors that bit too deep. But under it all, one truth nobody wanted to say out loud. Someone was doing this. Eli's eyes never left me. Then he started setting up the chair, cleaning razors with slow precision. The clink of steel echoed through the empty shop. "Why you got my name?" he asked eventually. "Pops called everybody by name," I said. "You knew him?" He smiled, small and sharp. Knew him, knew his hands, knew the men who sat under his light. Some things don't leave a place easy. That line sat heavy. I wanted it to mean tradition, but it didn't. Eli told me the truth. Men use that shop for more than cuts, money disputes, favors, payback. Some never walked out again. The barber shop wasn't haunted, it was a ledger, and the blade kept balance. After a while he looked me in the eye. "You trust your beard?" I smirked. "Always. Sit." He patted the chair, and I sat. His hands were sure. The razor whispering through my beard felt almost holy. I closed my eyes. He didn't talk about the deaths. He talked about craft angles, patience, precision, but every snip reminded me how close violence sits to comfort. When he was done, he set the razor down gently. "You ever keep secrets, Malik?" "Everyone does. Some secrets want to breathe. Some secrets don't let you go." He went into the back, came out with a Polaroid. 3 men, one wearing his same hat. He set it on the counter. The edges were worn. The faces looked familiar. It wasn't just a picture. It was a record. I stood slow. Eli just watched me. "People say I left," he said. "People say Pops left, but people like to say left. Makes 'em sleep better. You the one I started, but couldn't finish." He laughed, a dry, cutting sound. "I don't cut men like I used to," he said, "but I still trim nonsense from the block." I left that night with my beard clean and my chest full of cold truth. I told myself I'd report him. I didn't. Who do you call when the man with the razor knows all the names? When the shop you trusted is the same one men vanish from? Weeks passed, then months. I started hearing about disappearances. The shop stayed boarded, but sometimes walking home I'd see light flicker inside, a silhouette bent over another man like a prayer. Years later, when a kid from the block went missing, I knew where to look. Cops searched the alleys, the basements, the usual spots, but in that window a new Polaroid appeared, fresh tape, a face I knew. I stood there watching as the neighborhood pretended not to. And that's when I finally understood Eli's last words. The barber never left, not because of ghosts, but because of what we let live in plain sight. The shop became a shelter for men who didn't want to be seen, a place where loyalty hid the blade. When the cops finally broke in, they found a ledger behind a false wall, names, debts, blood in the boards. They took the Polaroids down, taped off the shop. The block exhaled, but secrets, they don't die. They relocate. They fix the glass, remodel the entire shop, painted over the name. A new barber moved in, calls people by name, laughs big, hands clean. But when I walk by, I still feel the scrape of a razor on a neck that's not mine. I still think about that ledger and how some cuts once made don't heal right. They stay, they change the man under them. I keep my head low now, my beard trimmed neat, and when a man offers to cut me, I look in his eyes first, not at the blade, because the spirit that haunts a place like Pop's ain't a ghost. It's the look a man gets when he knows he can get away with it. Some cuts never heal, they just stay, waiting for the next man to sit down. You listened all the way through. That means you're part of this now. Like the video, share it and let somebody else hear what lurks outside their window tonight. See you back here on the YouTube channel, Sights of Horror.